we're going to finally tick off some of the failure points from the MOT. Not the kind of update that we wanted to be giving you 2 days before the track day.
What's happened here?
Right then, welcome back to another episode on our S1 track build. If you're not familiar with the project, in episode 1 we purchased this prime example of an Audi S1 for just £6,000. We brought it back to the workshop and pretty much all of the lads here ripped into it. Part 2 saw us ripping off the rest of that disgusting purple wrap, and when we should have been fixing the problems, we put it on the dyno to see what power it did. Part 3, the car went on a massive diet. We ended up stripping the full interior of the car and also a few of the other bits from underneath. In episode 4, we took this over to the body shop for a full refresh, and as you can see now, it's looking a lot better compared to how we purchased it. Which brings us on to what we think is episode 5, and we're going to finally tick off some of the failure points from the MOT. So let's have a look what it actually failed on. So let's start with the points to repair immediately. So the first 2 are to do with the carbon monoxide. Basically, when we bought this, it had a decat on there and an exhaust. As you can see, it's got no exhaust on there at all now. That's mainly because in the weight reduction video, we've removed the front transfer case, which means we're going to have to do a custom exhaust. So at that point, we'll add in a race cat, which will help us address the first 2 failure points. The third one on the list, front anti-roll bar linkage, ball joint excessively worn, offside front. So the drop link, although you can't really feel it by hand, that is excessively worn. So we've got new drop links for the front. Sticking with this side, we have got the suspension arm ball joint excessively worn, offside front. So we've got some new bottom arms for this as well. The next 2 is quite an easy fix. Tyres not fitted in accordance with the sidewall instructions, near side front and offside front. Basically, when these have been put back on, the tyres are rotational. They've been put on the wrong side. So the left was on the right and the right was on the left. So while I'm here, we'll do that now. We'll swap these over. We're going to be getting new wheels and tyres anyway, so this is not going to make too much of a difference. But that's 2 ticks off the list already. Engine mounting damaged, deteriorated, resulting in excessive movement, central rear wrong bolt. So that is the dog bone mount. As you can see, we've got just a normal cap head in there, and we've got some excessive movement. So we're going to be fitting Vibrotechnics, dog bone mount, and we've also got the gearbox mount. So that'll tick off that. Oil leaking excessively from transmission brackets transfer box. Well, we fixed that problem because it hasn't got a transfer box anymore, so that was nice and easy. So the last one on the repair immediately list is brakes imbalanced across an front axle, or the front axle, I think that should be. So we're going to be fitting a big brake kit on this, so again, that's going to be fixed. Minor defects, so repair as soon as possible. It's saying we've got a CV boot severely deteriorated on the offside front outer, so we'll be changing that. Oh, in fact, there's no shaft in it a minute because we're going to be changing the shafts because we've got no transfer box. So that'll get sorted at the same time as the shaft. And then the last 3, so these are advisories. Tyres worn close to legal limit, getting new tyres for the track. Exhaust mounting defective rear back box, we're getting a custom exhaust, and exhaust has a minor leak of exhaust gases central. So we're getting a new custom exhaust. So we should be able to tick off quite a few on this list today. Not all of them, they might be in a future video, but we'll let Warren crack on. We'll get him to blast through as much as we can today, and then fingers crossed we can get this back on the road and finally do a bit of testing to see how it drives now versus how it drove when we first bought it. So quick update on the S1. We've got a lot happening at the minute and a lot of parts scattered all over. So I haven't really got a plan for what I'm going to say, so I'll just kind of run through things as we get to them. Starting at the back, we've got rear brakes. We've got, I believe these are R32 rear brakes. Either way, these are definitely bigger than the S1 rear brakes that are on there at the minute. Some Pagid RS pads to go with those. We've got a couple of drop links. Drive shaft, we've got the front drive shaft that we need because we've ditched the transfer box, and obviously we're going to be running this front wheel drive. So front drive shaft, power flex, we've got pretty much every single power flex bush you can get for the S1 platform. So we're going to be changing all them. That's why the rear subframe's down. We're going to be changing all the subframe bushes, the bottom arm bushes, all the front bushes. Yeah, pretty much every bush on the car, that's going to have power flex. We've got new genuine brackets for the rear trailing arms. The ones on there are looking quite crusty at the minute, so brand new ones are those. Mentioned subframe. So rear hubs. So both rear hubs have got brand new rear wheel bearings. To hold the bearing in place, we're using the standard cup from the drive shaft. But in here, we've basically just disassembled it, got rid of the bearings, got rid of the race and everything, and we'll just be using the cup at the back of the shaft as it is basically there. New bottom arms, again, the ones on the car are looking a bit worse for wear, so we're just going to change those as a matter of course. And I think that's it for the back, so let's go and have a look what's going on at the front. So up front, we've changed the dog bone mount for the Vibrotechnic one and genuine bolt, because the one on there before wasn't genuine. Because we've got rid of the transfer box, we've got an adapter plate which basically seals the gearbox, because without the transfer it wouldn't seal to the shaft. The bottom ball joint, the front arm, again that was on the MOT list, and I think that's about it for now. Yeah, gearbox mount hasn't gone on yet, that's still to go on. So we'll let the lads crack on because they've got plenty to do, and we'll check back in later today when some of this is fitted.
What's happened here? I've had to notch that out, which is unexpected, but it's not a big deal. Seeing as that is dead, this car is not going to make the track day, but all this ain't going to get done in time either. So I'm going to put this back together so it rolls. We've got the measurements we need roughly. This has already got power flex bushes in, but we need more camber. So I'm going to put the camber bush in the front there, just leave the rear one. It's already got purple power flex, but for how long they're going to be on, I'm not going to mess about. But this is going to have to come out, the gearbox needs to come out. Might as well do the anti-roll bar while I'm there, which means I might as well do the anti-roll bar stuff there. Put all this back together. I'm going to put these rear springs on because they're stiffer than these ones. Just take that out because that's the wrong way around. This anti-roll bar, I don't like where it is, but it is what it is. A couple of bits of bolt on. Not happy with how these look. This all wanted powder coating really when we took it off, but we'll sort it next time. Yeah, nightmare. Just going to put that new exhaust shield on. Yeah, stuff to do. That's the next video, so ignore all that. That's another video.
So another update on the S1, not the kind of update that we wanted to be giving you 2 days before the track day, that we were supposed to be going on, that we're now not going on because of the issues that I'm kind of going to go through. The biggest one kind of stopping us from rushing to get this done. I said rushing because with the amount of work that we still had left to do, it was always going to be quite a push to get this ready for Thursday, for the track day. The main problem is, so the drive shaft cup on this side of the gearbox, we put a clip in. Basically, inside there's a cap head bolt, and inside the gearbox there's a threaded part. The internal bit of the gearbox, the threaded part, is basically just spinning inside. So we can't tighten the bolt to keep the cup in, but we also can't take it out either. So the gearbox is going to have to come off. It was part of the plan, because we've ditched the four-wheel drive system, we were always going to put a diff in this. So that's the biggest problem, the biggest hurdle that we couldn't really overcome before Thursday to get this out on the track day. There's a few other things that we ideally wanted to do, but we could have took it with the standard setup. So you'll notice we did fit the big Brembo pista calipers. We're now back on the S1 calipers. It kind of knocked all the geometry out, so we're thinking we're going to need custom bottom arms anyway, or the trailing arm. We're thinking we might need a different length strut as well, just to bring it all in line to make sure we've got enough travel on the suspension, enough droop and everything to make sure that works. We also need more camber. The new camber top mounts haven't come yet, so again, that's another thing that we were going to have to compromise on. We didn't really want to make the brakes work not knowing how much camber we can get on the top, because that would then alter the length of the arms on the bottom. And like I said, we're going to have to be machining some parts. So the S1 brakes are back on. That's probably going to be in the next video now, or the next couple of videos, maybe when the gearbox is coming off. We'll have a solid plan to get those nice big discs on there and the pista calipers. The other thing, obviously, with the camber and the arms and the hub, all that will determine the width and offset that we can run on the front. We've also got the wider wings coming from SRS Tech. They're not here yet. They've been stuck in Italy for quite a while in customs, I think. So again, we had to make a compromise. The compromise, I think, would work. That's what we're just about to test now. So we did some test fitting. We put some photos online of, we had basically a single OZ racing wheel in the reception, just a display. We tried that on just to do some mocking up. Personally, I think that looked very, very nice, but we've gone for a ZF wheel. This is what we run on the TT race cars. Very light, very strong wheels, and compared to the OZs, these are pretty cheap for what they are, which for a track day and how Scott and Ride drive, we want something pretty cheap and strong, because they will get it pretty hard on the curbs and stuff like that. As per usual, we've gone for an AO52 tyre. This is a 235 40/18. For the track day, we were going to run a squared setup, because basically I've ordered 4 18 by 8.5 wheels that we know fit on the back. We've got one test fitted, I'll look at that in a minute. And then these also fit on the front with the standard hub and the camber that we've got at the minute, or that's the plan when I get this fitted. But so we can basically run the squared setup until we know what we're doing with the arms and how wide we can get on the front. We wanted a 265 on the front. I don't think we're going to get away with it, but we might be able to go something a little bit bigger than this, maybe a 235. I think even a 255 might be a bit of a push. But yeah, we can run this on the front for now with the S1 setup, and then when we've got the wider fronts, we can actually use this on the rear. So we've got 4 rears basically. So let's get this on. Let's see if it fits and clears where we need it to clear. So because these are 5x100 and quite a small, well, it's a universal centre board that they run on these wheels, we have got to run tuner bolts. We've ordered some tuner nuts as well, so we can still run the stud and nut kit. But it just means the bore holes are pretty small and you can't get a normal socket in. So we're not fully down because there's no rear tyre on the back, but I think that sits pretty well. There's enough clearance on the back, we could probably go back another 5mm, and then the SRS Tech wider arches are 30mm wider. So if we get a little bit more camber, we go in a little bit, it means we can go a little bit wider on the tyre. Like I said, I think we're not going to get away with a 265, mainly because of the front bumper. Even though the wing's wider, the front bumper is going to remain the same. But for me, they fit pretty well. Quite an aggressive fitment at the minute, fairly flush. But I'm pretty sure Scott and Ride want more camber and more grip on the front. The rear, although we've got no tyre on, again, we've got quite a bit of clearance at the back. We'll get a tyre on that and double check it. But again, I think with the way how that's sitting pretty flush, we're going to want a bit more camber on the back as well. So again, it'll take a little bit of adjustment, but I think we've kind of got the rear wheel fitment spot on. So I'll lift it back up on the ramp and we'll have a look at a few more bits that we managed to get sorted. So as you can see, we've got the rear subframe all fitted back up. We've swapped out the, I think there were 80 rear springs for 100s, because we know it's going to want to be a little bit stiffer on the back. So we've swapped out them. All the rear end is now Powerflex bushers, so we've changed all those. You can't really see them. Normally they'd be purple if they were the road versions, but these are all the track versions. New bottom arms, anti-roll bars back on there. We've not yet put the bigger rear brakes on. We basically said we were just going to run the standard S1 brakes all round if we were going to try and get it to go to this track day on Thursday. The only thing other than that was left to do was the custom exhaust.
Yeah, I think it's a bit noisy. I think Donington might have something to say about that, but we'll see. So, still a few little bits to do on it before we can actually drive it and take it for the MOT. Couple little bits, not a lot, but it's not far away. And that's the last big piece. I think Tom needs to tune it, and then yeah, hopefully we can be driving it, see how we get on.